Hello everybody and welcome to our very first SIG talk. The idea of this is to introduce you to SIG talks as well as three topics which we feel will be of interest to those of our members who are members of this special interest group. My name is Richard Bishop. I'm Head of Service Development Delivery at Trust IV Limited, a micro-focus partner in Manchester. Also with me today are Todd DiCaprio, who's Director of Technology and Product Innovation at Corporation and Service Company, and Chris Trimper, who is Enterprise QA Analyst at Independent Health, also in the US. This SIG talk will be focused on quality and testing, and we'll also talk about the changes that have taken place within our user group since the Micro Focus and HPE software merger. First of all, I'll give you a little bit of housekeeping. This is a live webinar. It's intended for all Vivit members, and the recording will be posted in the webinar section on the Vivit website, so it'll be visible to all members. The slide deck and webinar recording will be made available to you, and we'll send you links via email once they're posted on the website, so you can share them with colleagues who may not be able to join you in the live session today. If you want to enlarge the presentation pane on the screen, if you click the rectangle in the top right-hand corner of the presentation, which is highlighted with the red arrow on this slide, you can make it a little bit bigger, and particularly when we show you some demos, that might make it easier to see. A few more details about the control panel. If you have any questions as we go along, if you type those questions and send them into us using the Q&A pane on the left-hand side of the screen, type the question and click on the Ask button, and we'll see those questions as they come in. If you want to ask a question and receive an answer in your native language, click the flag in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, which will give you a language selector box. If you then click the radio button next to your language and click Apply, it'll be set to your language. The content for each of our SIG talks is going to be around the topics of functional testing, performance testing, and security, and how they all pertain to testing in general. Presentations will share real-world experiences, best practices, demonstrations, those types of things. And these SIG talks will be regularly held on a monthly basis on the second Tuesday of each month at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, so this time. Recordings, as I've said, will be available on the website, and you can share those then for local user group meetings or use them to encourage more local discussion about the topics that we'll be talking about. We're interested in getting everybody who's a Vivit member and has an interesting story to tell to join us in these. So if you have any ideas for topics or interesting speakers, please send them on to us. If you complete the survey or get in touch via our email address, info@vivitworldwide.org, which we'll send you at the end, we'll get back to you with that. Also, you can send questions in via our Facebook page or Twitter. We have a hashtag specifically related to this, so if you ask any questions via hashtag #VivitSigTalks, we'll be able to get back to you even if you're watching the recording. So we'll obviously monitor that after this live session. So today's topics, I'm going to introduce first of all the move to Micro Focus, and we'll talk about the Discover the New sessions that the Micro Focus executives had touring the world and telling everybody about the changes, and we'll discuss how those may potentially affect us. Todd DiCaprio is going to talk about big data, AI, and machine learning and how that relates to testing. I'll then do a VTS demonstration, and Chris Trimper will do a Storm Runner functional demonstration. Okay, so Discover the New, as I mentioned, was a tour launched immediately after the merger on the 1st of September by the Micro Focus execs. They went around 14 world cities in 4 weeks and talked about the key tech disruptors, those being agile, DevOps, cloud, open source software, data-centric enterprises, as well as more modern technologies such as analytics and machine learning, which Todd will tell us about later. I was really pleased to be able to go to the London event, which was on the 7th of September, just a few days after Chris Hugh and team rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange when it opened with the news of the merger of the two HPE software and Micro Focus organizations. These events would build as an opportunity for Micro Focus and former HPE partners and customers to meet the leadership team, and it's good to be able to attend this in person. I know other Vivid leaders who I've discussed this with, as well as members, were able to go to events in London, Washington, all around the world. I'm pretty sure that Chris Yu earned his frequent flyer miles in September. The first thing I noticed when I went to this event was what I initially thought was a lack of familiar faces. I've been going to Mercury, HP and then HPE events for some time, and so I expected to see lots of people that I knew. But many people that I met were traditional Micro Focus customers, including Novell, Serena software users, for example. This reminded me just how much of a game changer this merger actually is. Rather than a lift of shift of HPE software into another organization, right from the start there seems to be a desire to mix lots of different customers together and allow them to learn from each other. One conference attendee told me how Serena software was helping with his release management, and I was able to advise on how LoadRunner could potentially be useful to him with his Internet of Things testing. And I can already see the potential benefits of merging these two companies, as well as expanding Vivid and allowing us to collaborate with existing Micro Focus user groups. Chris has a military background, and he stated the fact that for him the mission is everything. He expects all of his staff to be able to identify how each task they undertake helps towards that mission, and reiterated that putting customer at the centres of his strategy is key. You may not be able to read the slide in the photograph which I took, but his mission statement says, "We provide our customers with a best-in-class portfolio of enterprise-grade, scalable software with analytics built in. We put customers at the center of our innovation and build high-quality products that customers can rely on and our teams can be proud of." You can obviously take what you like from that, but I like the idea of putting customers first, and the desire to put intelligence and analytics into every product is already being seen, and Todd's going to expand on that later. Some of the key points for me were the fact that Micro Focus and HPE Software, by merging, have become the 7th largest software company in the world. And after the main session, Chris Yu mentioned this and took part in a Q&A session with the audience, which was really useful. And he also discussed the fact that as the two companies have merged, they have a very broad portfolio, particularly compared to some of the larger organizations to the left of them in that chart. There are over 2,000 support people, and one of his key drivers was to make sure that valuable software investments that people have made with Micro Focus don't become shelfware. And that's what we're trying to achieve with our SIG Talks. We're helping people get the most from their investment in software. And our plan is to hold these sessions with industry experts as well as Micro Focus support people, so we can go through the most common problems that people face and help people to learn from each other's mistakes, to be honest. So we're pleased that this reconnection with customers is a priority for Micro Focus because it aligns well with our strategic direction. We're working on a number of initiatives such as these SIG Talks, which will help us to encourage mutual support and knowledge sharing amongst our members to help people get the best value from their financial and technical investments in software. After the main session, Chris and his leadership team mixed with the attendees, which demonstrated that the new Micro Focus is very keen to hear from customers and help them with their challenges. I had an interesting conversation with him, and despite him not making notes, he still remembered to follow up via my UK-based Micro Focus sales contact within a few days. And this really impressed me because I felt that it was almost a throwaway conversation, but he took the time to follow up, which certainly impressed me.